Good morning, crafty friends. This is Cheryl. It's been a little while since I've done a video, but here I am. And I guess you're wondering what this big old pile is. This is a pile of scraps, ladies. So what I'm here to do is to explain to you about the Share Your Scraps swap. And it's going to be a fast and easy swap, but it's one where we will swap our scraps and have some new scraps to add to what we already have, because I have a feeling there's going to be some scrappy things coming up in the new year, some swaps where we'll use our scraps. So let's get prepared. So anyway, here it is. It's a pile of scraps. I want to show you what kind of scraps we want to swap. We're not looking for that box of little tiny pieces like this big that you have and all that. You're not going to shove those in an envelope and send them to us. But we are looking for your regular scraps that you go to, your cutoffs, your pieces. Looky here, pieces of digitals. Here's a piece of the top of a paper pack that is like cardstock that you could punch out flowers or, pieces to use. We're looking for your jelly plate scraps, background type papers. We're looking for stamped images that can be cut out and colored and used. We're looking for pieces, nice pieces. See this? Nice pieces of scrapbook paper. Here's wallpaper. Look at there. That's a piece of beautiful blue, oceany wallpaper. Music paper. More wallpaper. Here's a nice piece that would be really nice to send for collaging. This is a piece of a digital. You can, look through all your scraps and pick out your nicest pieces. Here's a piece that is small, but it's an embossed piece. Ooh, nice. I have here all kinds of digitals and cutoffs from scrapbook paper. Nice pieces that you would want to use. Things that you would like to receive because they're big enough to use. We want things that are big enough to use, in something. I even have a little window here from a security envelope that I sometimes use them as a frame. I make a frame in a junk journal or on a card or, and so that would be acceptable to put in there. Here's a pocket that I made up and never used, never decorated and used, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, a 4 pocket thing for in a journal or on a page or whatever. I might throw that in. I did some painting on book pages that I glued together and watercolor paper that I just took paint and made background pages. And what I did with that, and this is nice, these are nice, wonderful scraps, because what I did with those then was I took a stencil and drew leaves back in the fall onto these pages that I painted with different colors, and they gave me these beautiful fall leaves. I hope you can see that. I hope I'm in frame and you can see. It gave me these wonderful fall leaves to use on tags and things. So those kind of papers are handy. You could cut out, punch out different shapes and things like that. I have a few of those, that I have done, and they're wonderful scraps. Look at that one. These were fall ones that I didn't get around to using, but they're wonderful scraps for collage fodder and, so those are handy to have. And then, of course, there's vintage book pages. You can always send pieces of vintage music paper, vintage book page, but we don't want all one thing. We want a nice mix. Here's wrapping paper, you know, that a piece of wrapping paper. Here is a piece of parchment paper that has butterflies and words stamped on it, and that was in my scraps. That would be a wonderful scrap to send to someone. Here are tickets that I cut out of scrapbook paper but never decorated and made into anything. That's a wonderful scrap to send to someone. Pieces of these digitals, you know, to use on in masterboards and in mixed media. And here's a piece of a paper bag that I went to a thrift shop and they put my items in there, and this is, I used part of it for collaging, and this is what I have up. That is a beautiful thing to send. Here is a piece of a digital, half a page. That is a wonderful piece to send. Here's another one. Here's another cutoff from a digital. All these kinds of things right here. These are beautiful things to send to your partner to add to what they already have, and it kind of will spark our creativity in the future when we start doing these scrappy projects, you know. Or I know that Shauna she does some scrappy things, you know, where you use up your scraps. And, you know, I get sick of looking at my same scraps. So it's fun. I like my scraps, but then I always have the same scraps. So it's nice to add a couple of new things into it. Look at this little piece. And that can be like, oh my, so nice. Here's pieces of masterboard that never got used for anything. Those kind of scraps. Look at this wonderful aged piece of paper. This is an old, I guess it's just, is it folded? Yeah, it's very thin. It's an old piece of paper that I never finished using the rest of it. So that's a wonderful scrap. You see what I'm saying? All these, look at that. That could be a tag in itself. Here's a cross-leg pocket made from a book page. That's a wonderful scrap. Here is the negative. You know, I cut out the shapes, and I saved that because we can use that sometimes. You know, we don't want all of one kind of thing. You see what I'm saying? I have this wide variety of scraps here to choose from to send, and we're going to send at least 40 pieces. You can send more. If you want to send a big envelope full, you know, I would never turn that down. Look at that beautiful book page in my scraps. This kind of thing. Coffee dyed things that we didn't get around to using. Pieces of coffee dyed dictionary page and old music sheets and all the things that you find. I did a masterboard where I collaged, I painted, I used a decoupage napkin, I used watercolor, I used texture paste, and then, you know, I stamped on it and everything. Made a beautiful page. I copied it then. You know, I made a copy of it, and this is what's left. So things like that, you know, mixed media type things. Look at there. It's cut into a tag shape. I don't know where it came from. It was in my scraps. So there you go, you know, because you can make masterboards with your scraps. And look at that. These are little ATC cards that I did in the fall. I have a whole stack of them. Decoupage some napkin on top. So, you know, the possibilities are endless with your scrap. This is chocolate paper, by the way. A piece of chocolate was in there. But this makes great collage fodder. And I saved that. So, map pages. Look at these colored pages. These were in my scrap box. You know, pieces that have been coffee dyed and you didn't use it all. Or you have the whole thing and you have never used it and you feel generous, you know. Here's another piece of a Christmas masterboard that I did last year. Cut it up and made beautiful tags. There's a piece that's left that was in my scraps. But they can be used for stuff, you know. There's little charms and little tags and little things that can be made in the future. So I hope this will help you. That's what the Share Your Scraps swap is all about. And we're going to share scraps with one another and hopefully get inspired to use more up. I know that I will, because I love to make masterboards and even save them, make them ahead and have them on hand to cut up, to make ATC cards, to make tags, to send to people to do mixed media with. Mixed media tags are fun to make when you already have, you know, a masterboard made up of book pages and music pages, different colored, you know, book pages and things like that. So gather together, look through your scraps, gather at least 40 pieces, and jump on over to the event page and sign up. It's going to be a very quick, it doesn't take long to grab 40 pieces of scraps, you know, out of your scrap box and mail them. So it's not something laborious where you have to, you know, make something and you're trying to wrap your Christmas gifts and get to your Christmas party and all that. You don't, it's not going to be like that. It is a quick and easy, fun swap where we're still doing something and we're preparing for the new year and what's coming, you know, the projects that are coming in the new year. And yet we're still, you know, receiving and doing fun things in this group. So anyway, I'm going to jump off now, and I hope to see you joining up and joining into the fun. It's going to be a fun kind of thing. And so I hope you all have a very crafty, fun day. Bye-bye now.